finally here.
With Alyson Court, who is best known for her roles as Loonete in Big Comfy Couch, as Claire Redfield in the Resident Evil video game series. Can you tell us how you got the role of Claire Redfield in the Resident Evil series?
Capcom had got the rights to do Marvel video games, and they've done a bunch of Marvel vs. Capcom and Marvel vs. X-Men and different games like that. So I was the voice of Jubileu in the X-Men, the original X-Men cartoon series, which I am thrilled to have been a part of. I thought they changed Saturday morning cartoons. So I'm forever grateful for having been part of that team. But that had been established. Capcom got the rights to do the game, and they had this fabulous idea that let's use the real voices from the cartoon for our video game. And I hope the fans were aware of that at the time, because I think that was a really bold move on Capcom's part, because it meant flying people across the ocean to come and record voices in Toronto, which hadn't really been done before. So a relationship was established between Capcom and people in Toronto, and Resident Evil 2 was on the board in terms of the next project, and they took a chance. They said, let's use this great relationship that we've just forged. Let's go back to Toronto and see if we can find the voices for this game.
How do you see the Claire Redfield character? What excites you about playing her?
She's awesome!
Well, she is, yes.
Claire's fantastic. I adore playing Claire, and I'm always thrilled when I hear that there's going to be a new Resident Evil project coming up, because I always hope that Claire's going to be part of it. She's just so well-grounded and clever. She's not a trained police officer or special forces or anything like that. She just knows how to take care of herself. But she's also got this really warm, nurturing, natural side too. And I think people really identify with her fish out of water situation when she shows up originally in Raccoon City looking for her brother, not expecting to find a zombie Armageddon situation going on. It does catch her off guard, as I think it would catch most of us off guard. But I think that's the fact that she toughs it out and she really learns how to survive, and she becomes one of the best in the world.
Can't help but notice that there's an amazing resemblance between Claire and you.
Me and Claire. Claire and me looking alike. Well, I guess, it's always open to interpretation, and I was never brought in for Capcom to actually officially model my face to be that of Claire's. But initially, in Resident Evil 2, when we saw the art for that, I remember hearing that the model of Claire was roughly based on Neve Campbell. And I think they did a good job. I think there's quite a similarity there with Neve Campbell. But when they came to do Resident Evil Code Veronica, the model had changed significantly. And at the time, I remember them saying Liv Tyler was supposed to be the inspiration. But when we were doing the original voice recording for Code Veronica, Capcom did come in and film my mouth for saying the words. And back then, of course, we didn't have motion capture and facial capture going on for video games. So this is how the animators could reference my voice and make sure that they were trying to animate the character as close as possible. So they filmed my face recording the lines and saying the alphabet, and also saying the Japanese alphabet and the Japanese vowels, the A-I, A-I-U-E-O, which is because the mouth shaped differently. So when we came back to do the pickups for Code Veronica, that's when we got to see the actual video footage, and that's when everybody in the room sort of went, she looks just like Alyson. And I saw a similar a similarity. I saw a similarity to Liv Tyler as well. Not that Liv Tyler and I look alike. I think Claire and Code Veronica maybe look like somewhere a cross between Liv Tyler and me. There we go, if that's possible. There's something for the fanboys to think about. But each subsequent installment of the Resident Evil franchise that Claire's been a part of, certainly not, I don't mean the movies, but within the video games or the CG movie, Claire has arguably continued to look more and more like me, to the point where in Umbrella, the Dark Side Chronicles, which we did just a couple of years ago, and that was a lot of fun. And it wasn't exactly a remake, but it took the first game, Resident Evil 2, and Code Veronica, and kind of meshed them together for Claire's side, but then continued on in a different way for some of the other characters. By that point, Claire really looks a lot like me. But it depends. You know, there are probably a lot of people out there who don't see the resemblance at all.
I'm using that shot right